fireplace is highly commercial.
Why, darling, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. For us both, really.
Happy? Why on earth happy?
But it is yours, isn't it? That idea that you had in August.
The idea that I had in August, my dear, has gone the way of the idea that I had in June and the idea whenever the hell it was before then. Into that fireplace, up the chimney, and out over Fairfield County. Pollution in its most grisly form. No, this arrived in the mail or something. It's the property of one Clifford Anderson, one of the twerps at the seminar I conducted last summer. Dear Mr. Brew, hope you don't mind my sending you a copy of my new play Deathtrap, which I finished retyping at 2 o'clock this morning. Since it wouldn't have been written without the expertise of your own previous work and the guidance and encouragement you provided me last summer, I thought it only fitting you be the first person to read it. If you find it 1/10 as entertaining as any of your own thrillers, I shall consider it money well spent, and the fee for the seminar more than adequately recompensed.
Oh, that's nice.
No, it's not. It's false. Please excuse the carbon copy. The Xerox machine in the area is on the fritz, but I couldn't stand the idea of waiting 2 or 3 days to send my firstborn child off to meet its spiritual father. My italics is emetics. Please call or write as soon as you've read it. Let me know whether you find it worthy of submitting to, etc., etc. The son of a bitch even types well. Now, I think I remember him. Enormously obese, glandular condition, 400 pounds. I wonder where he got my address.
From the university.
Probably.
Is it really that good, his first play?
I mean, it can't miss. Not even a gifted director could hurry it. It'll run for ages. These stock and amateur royalties will feed and clothe generations of Andersons. Could easily open into a movie. George C. Scott, Michael Caine.
Oh, I love him.
The goddamn thing is perfect.
I should think that you would be proud that one of your students had written a saleable play.
For the first time in 11 years of marriage, darling, drop dead.
My goodness.
I mean, I'm green with envy. I'd like to beat the wretch over the head with that mace over there and bury him in a 400-pound hole somewhere and send the thing off under my own name to David Prince or Hal Merrick. Ooh, no, wait. That's the best idea I've had in ages.
Oh, my poor Cindy.
I mean, the hell's the point of owning a mace if you're not going to use the damn thing once in a while?
You'll get an idea of your own any day now, and it will turn into a better play than that one.
Don't bet on it. Not if you've got any money left to bet with.
We are doing just fine in that department, not one creditor beating at our door.
Yes, but for how much longer? I mean, I just about cleaned you out, haven't I?
We've just about cleaned me out, and it has been a joy and a delight every bit of the way. Your next play will simply have to be a tremendous smash.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that. That's just what I needed, and easing of the pressure.
Why don't you call it to Merrick's attention? Maybe you could get a commission of some sort.
A finder's fee, you mean?
If that's what it's called.
Yes, a grand and glorious 1%. Maybe 1.5.
Or, better yet, why don't you produce it yourself? You've been involved in enough productions to know how it's done, and you know, it might be a beneficial change of pace.
Darling, I might be devious and underhanded enough to become a successful murderer, but not, I think, a Broadway producer. One mustn't overestimate one's talents.
Collaborate with him. Isn't there room for improvement? As good as it is the professional touch, a little reshaping and sharpening.
Now, that's a possibility.
I'm sure he'd be thrilled to work with you.
We could go 50-50.
And you'd get top billing.
Well, actually, reverse alphabetical order, dear boy, done all the time.
On the basis of who you are.
Yes, Sydney Flock Brew.
Sydney, author of the murder game
18 long years, each one flying by faster than the one before. Nothing recedes like success. Oh, wait, that's a good one. That's somewhere. There's got to be a has-been actor who can say it. Recedes is EDE, isn't it?
Yes. You see, you would improve it.
Yes, I give it the inimitable Sydney Broom flavor. It'll close in Boston.
Call him now. Where is he from?
He's up in Milford. So, you don't like the Mesa, do you?
No, definitely not. Blood on the carpet, and the next day, Helmut Tendorf will be picking up the psychic vibrations, y'all.
From Holland? I seriously got it.
Sydney, what were you smoking on Friday night when the rest of us were smoking grass? She's taken to McBain Cottage for 6 months. Paul Wyman is doing a book with her. Christ, he was impersonating her for 15 minutes.
Oh, hell, I thought he was just finally coming out of the closet.
You see what a fine murderer you'd make. Helmut Tendorf moves in practically on your doorstep, and you manage not to hear about it.
Well, now that does give one pause.
It certainly should. Nan and Tom Wesson had her at dinner last week, and she told Tom all about his back aches and the money he put into silver, and his father's thing for tall women. She warned Nan that their au pair girl would be leaving, which she did 2 days later. And get this, she found the set of keys that Nan lost in 1969. They were under the clothes dryer of all places.
And you say she's over in the McBain Cottage?
Right over yonder, picking up our blips on her radar this moment, most likely.
Well, then it does appear Mr. Anderson has himself a collaborator. Not that I believe in ESP.
The police in Europe certainly seem to. That's half of why she's here. She's supposed to be resting from pointing at murders, yeah?
Wait a minute. The fat one didn't even stay for the whole week. And his name was Quincy. Anderson. I wonder if he was the one with that awful stinger.
Easy way to find out.
Right. This might be a 3-hour conversation. No, it's busy. Probably talking to Mary. What's for dinner?
Salmon.
Again?
Yes. Sydney, would you actually kill someone for the chance at another successful play?
Don't be foolish, darling. Of course I would. Spoken in jest, Miss Tindor.
It's, Mrs. She's a widow. Or divorced.
Naturally, I mean, who could say married to a woman with ESP? Now, don't you fix me with that basilisk stare, whatever the hell a basilisk happens to be. Don't you want to return to sardines and confident in the knowledge that we won't have to sit in the kitchen? Do you know what this play would generate its author in today's market? $2 million. That doesn't include the Deathtrap t-shirts. If that's not motivation for murder, dear, I don't know what is. I wish you hadn't told me about her. Now, here we go. Hello, Clifford Anderson? Cindy Brewer. Not the stammerer. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I have. I finished it about 15 minutes ago, and in all sincerity, I must say, I believe you've got an enormously promising first draft. I was just saying to my wife Myra here that if you give it the reshaping it needs, point it up in the right places, and add in some humor, it'll be right up there with the sleuth, dial in, and the murder game. Has the makings, as we say. Well, yes, I should think you would be. Oh, I remember that feeling very well. I thought the murder game was finished the first time around, and then someone with far more theater experience took it in hand with me and helped me to rewrite it, improved it tremendously, I don't mind admitting. Who? Oh, it was George S. Kaufman. Oh, he didn't take any credit for it, though. God knows I urged him to. He was deeply in debt at the time. He didn't want folks to know he was in line for a share of the royalties. You know what? I could be all wrong about this. So what reaction have you gotten from others? Oh, No one at all. Well, now that's quite flattering, but surely someone else has read it. Your friends, your wife, the other twerps, people at the seminar? Oh, well that does sound ideal. Complete isolation. And all you have to do is monitor the thermostat, water the flowers. Well, I'm surprised you've only written one play by now. I've probably tossed off 3 or 4. Well, yes, I am working on one right now. It's going to be a terrific thriller. It's based on a woman with ESP, you know, the Helga Tindorf, you know, the psychic. Yeah, she's a neighbor of ours. I'm calling it the Frowning Wife. That's just a working title, though. I can come up with something much jazzier. I love the name Deathtrap, by the way. Both the title and the play, or I should say the enormously promising first draft. Well, yes, I have some ideas. Well, far too many to get into over the phone. Look, why don't we get together in person? I'll go over the whole thing with you scene by scene. Yes, I am free tonight, as a matter of fact. Why don't you jump in your car and drive down? We're not far. Oh, I see. Well, then why don't you take the train? I'll pick you up at the station here in Westport and run you over. Well, it'd probably work out better that way. You'd have a devil of a time finding us. We're way off into the woods. We have to set up flares when we're expecting visitors. Yes, do. I'll hold on. His car's in the shop. He's house sitting for a couple in Europe. He's not married.
Do you think he'll be up for the idea of collaborating?
Well, yes, I think he might. Say, was George S. Kaufman alive when I wrote the verdict? Hello, yes. No, that's going to be too early. When's the next one? No, I'm sorry, that's too late. Well, I'll tell you what, here's what we do. You take the 729, and there's the 11 something from New York that stops in Milford. You won't have any trouble getting home at all afterwards. Yes, well, listen, do me a favor, would you? Could you bring the original with you? These carpets are awfully hard on my tired old eyes. Oh, that'd be great. Okay, I'll see you at 7:29. And Terrence? Oh, may I call you Terrence? Why? Oh, Clifford. So I'm sorry, Clifford. My apologies. Listen, Clifford, I may be a few minutes late. I've got some errands to run, so you just wait there at the train station for me, and I'll be along eventually, okay? Yes. A navy blue Mercedes. Right. Okay. Goodbye. He might be the one without any obvious defects.
What errands do you have to run?
Well, didn't you say something about library books, picking them up or dropping them off?
No, I didn't.
Huh, I thought you did. Well, the Xerox machine is fixed in his area now, but he's decided to wait 2 or 3 days to see if I would have any small suggestions for improvement. No one else has read it yet. In fact, no one else even knows he's working on it.
And no one will see you picking him up.
Yeah. That thought did cross my mind. I've gotten so good at designing crimes on paper.
Why did you ask him to bring the original?
Well, I mean, you heard me. These carvings are awfully hard in my eyes. We both should have a copy of it as we go over it. I don't want him leaning over my shoulder for 2 hours, exhaling cheeseburger.
He probably has another carbon copy on file somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Plus his outlines, his notes, earlier drafts. On the night of my opening glorious triumph, his gray-haired mother will come down the aisle accompanied by the Milford and Westport police departments. Hello? Oh, hey, buddy. No, I don't think so tonight. I've got a new idea that's kind of rolling around in my head. I don't want to lose touch with it. It's still in the embryo stage, but you know, Myra might like to go. Let me check. They're going to go see the French thing at Fine Arts too. I could drop you on the way.
No, I don't want to see it. Not tonight.
Hey, Ronnie, listen, Myra's going to pass as well. I think she's been under the weather recently, but listen, you kids have a good time. Come over tomorrow and give us a full report, okay? All right. Goodbye. You don't have to stay in guard over me. I only kill when the moon is full.
Why did you lie just now? Why didn't you tell her that someone was coming to see you?
I mean, is it any of their business? I don't know why I lied. I'm just a liar.
The moon was full last night, except for a little sliver down at the bottom.
Really? I shall have to use maximum self-control and remember that second carbon, which almost certainly exists.
If not for that singing, would you? Could you?
Probably not. Probably I would chicken out, even if he was the tiny one. You know, they say that writing about murder drains off the violent tendencies, and I think they're probably right, but still, it does open one to the possibility of committing a real murder. Gives it the idea of something worth considering, just as in owning a weapon and handling it gives one the possibility of actually using it. There's a world of difference between a paper victim and a real one. No, I'm sure Clifford Anderson will go home tonight exactly in the health in which he arrived, a manuscript clutched in his tiny or giant or otherwise normal-sized hands.
He'll jump at the chance to collaborate with you, and afterwards you'll do a play that's all your own.
Oh, I'm sure I will, sooner or later.
Maybe you could do something based on Helga Tendorf. She's not called the frowning wife.
The smiling wife, the cheerful up kind of thriller. You know, there could be an idea in this one, couldn't there? I mean, a playwright going through a tiny little dry spell, suddenly gets a new play in the mail from a twerp who attended one of his seminars. I mean, there's a possibility, right? Especially if it's highly commercial. The playwright has a room full of weapons.
Put it in your notebook.
Oh, I will. Pity he's got the title Deathtrap. Oh, the house was actually built in 1794, but it ran 9 at the hardware store, so I backdated the damn thing 10 years.
It's a beautiful house.
The Historical Society had kittens.
Hello.
Well, this is Clifford Anderson here. This is my wife, Myra.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Come in. I was beginning to worry.
Oh, watch out for that bean. You can always tell an authentic colonial home by the number of bruises on the visitors' foreheads.
The room you work in?
How did you guess?
Well, the typewriter and these posters. Is that the mace used to murder his child?
Yes. And that's the dagger from the murder game. Be careful though. It's sharp. They substituted a trick one in Act 2.
In for the kill?
Yes.
I can't understand why that play didn't run.
Oh, critics peeing on it might be the answer.
The train must have been late. Was it?
No, Mr. Earl was. The train was on time.
I had to stop to get gas, and Frank insisted on fondling the spark plug.
Did you know? Gunpoint is the first play I ever saw. I have an aunt in New York, and I came on the train one Saturday. By myself, in another first, from Hartford. She took me to see the matinee. I was 12 years old.
Well, if you're trying to depress me, you've made it.
How? Oh, well, I'm sorry, but that's why I got hooked on thrillers.
Well, Angel Street did it for me. Donna, what have you done with that grocery receipt? Where's it at, you poor wretched creature? I was 15.
And it sounds like a disease being passed from generation to generation.
Oh, it is a disease. Thrilleritis malignus, the fevered pursuit of the once set 5-character moneymaker.
Oh, I'm not pursuing money. Not that I wouldn't like to have some so I could work in a place like this, but that's not why I wrote Deathtrap.
Well, you're still a very early case.
It's not a disease. It's tradition. A superbly challenging theatrical framework in which every possible variation seems to have been played. Can I conjure up a few new ones? Can I startle an audience who's been on Angel Street, that's dialed M for murder, that's witnessed the prosecution, that's played the murder game?
No, That's a fine, lovely speech, and thank you for saving me the last.
I was coming to salute.
God, I'm glad I stopped you.
So am I. I'm a little euphoric about all that's happening.
Well, I mean, well, you should be.
Would you like something to drink?
Yes, please. Do you have ginger ale?
Yes, Sydney? Scotch?
Oh dear, I guess I'll have some ginger ale too.
These aren't all from your plays, are they?
Oh God, no, I haven't written that many. Friends give me things now, and I prowl the antique shops.
There's a disease.
And a super excuse not to work. Saw that one in Richmond the other day. It's authentic German.
It's beautiful.
Oh, and I have taken very good care of my spiritual son, lock and key.
I've got the original.
Oh, good. Doctor says I should get new glasses, but he also says the longer I can stay with these, the better. So here you are. Oh, I'm sorry. There you are.
It's not in a binder. The Xerox.
Oh, makes no damn mind.
I've got the first draft here, too. There's a scene between Diane and Carlo that I may have been wrong to cut, and the Diane and Richard scene starts earlier, before they know Carlo is back.
Now, how many drafts do you have?
Well, just the one. It's a mess, but I'm sure you'll be able to decide. If you'd like to see those two scenes.
Oh, I would, by all means. I was thinking that there was a Diane and Carlo scene that I wasn't seeing before the murder.
Yes, I was afraid the act would run too long.
What else do you have in there?
Oh, the outline, which I departed from considerably. I made it the way you suggested. Loose leaf, a page per scene, and some lines I jotted down but never got to use.
Throw away the ones you did use as you used them?
Yes.
Same way I would.
Everything was in the one folder, so I just grabbed it. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thanks.
It was a 2-hour walk to the station, so I had to leave right after we talked.
2 hours?
I walked longer than that. I am one writer who's not going to get flabby. I work out with weights every morning. I came this close to looking decathlon team.
Really?
Well, this close.
Well, then I should be very careful not to argue with you. I'm one of the looking sloth team. Gold can fall asleep in any position. Deathtrap.
Deathtrap.
Deathtrap. It'll be toasted with more than ginger ale someday if Sydney's right about it. And I'm sure he is.
I hope so. I toasted it with beer the other night.
We have some, would you rather?
Oh, no, this is fine, thanks.
Darling, you intend to stay in here.
Yes.
Do you think I overdid the set description? All the exact locations for each piece of furniture?
Set description. I don't remember seeing anything wrong with that. Let me check. No, it's right here. It's just fine. Couldn't be better. I can type you. Electric.
No, I can't see electric typewriters. If there's a power failure, they can't work.
That's the biggest reason for owning one. Well, I mean that, and the one thing I know about electric, Zenobia here at any rate, is you can only make one good carbon. Second carbon is so muddy as to be almost illegible. You don't have that.
Sydney has some wonderful ideas for improving your play, Mr. Anderson.
I'm sure he does. I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Could you do that in the living room, dear?
There's no good work light in there.
I seem to recall a paisley chair with a light beside it, bright enough for the engraving of Bibles on pinheads.
It's too bright and the chair's too low. I'll be quiet.
Darling, this is Clifford's first play, and I'm the first person to read it. I'm sure he would prefer our conversation to be in private, wouldn't you? And don't be embarrassed to say so.
No, I don't mind Mr. Burrell being here. In fact, it makes it feel a little less like I've been summoned to the principal's office.
Well, I'm sorry I awe you.
You do. All those plays and the things you say. I never thought of calling my typewriter anything but Smith Corona.
Well, as long as it answers.
You're welcome to read the play too, Mrs. Burrell, if you'd like to.
I would.
I'm curious to know how women are going to react about Diane's decision, about the gun.
Sydney told me a little bit about it at dinner, but he stopped at the surprises. I don't even know who killed whom.
Good, you should. I think there was a trouble with murder's child. If you'll forgive my saying so. Dr. Mannheim was going to bash poor Teddy. You didn't leave any room for doubt. I mean, the audience should suspect, yes, but they shouldn't be absolutely certain, should they? Doesn't that tend to define the suspense?
You might have a point, but say, I wish you had told me on the phone that you wanted Myra to read the play as well. I would have told you to bring another Carbon with you. That way she could be reading it while you and I have our talk.
Well, I didn't know she'd be interested. And anyway, I don't have one.
You don't have another Carbon?
I only made the one. I thought I'd be xeroxing the original as soon as I was through.
Oh, of course. Why would you need two or three Carbons, not in the age of Xerox?
She could read this copy and we could pass the pages back and forth. Or I could sit next to you.
You know what? I need to think. Let me think.
Mr. Anderson, Sydney is just bursting with creative ideas about your play. I've never seen him so enthusiastic. He gets plays in the mail very often, finished plays ready for production supposedly, from his agent and producers and aspiring playwrights. Usually he just laughs and sneers and says the most disparaging things you could ever imagine. I just know that he could improve your play tremendously. He could turn it into a hit that would play for years and years and make more than enough money for everyone concerned.
Darling, is that what you meant by, I'll be quiet?
I won't be quiet. I'm going to say something that has been on my mind since your telephone conversation. It's very wrong of you to expect Sydney to give you the fruits of his experience and his hard-won knowledge without any quid pro quo, as if the seminar were still in session.
He offered to give me...
And it was wrong of you to have offered to have given it to him. I'm the person in the household whose feet are on the floor and whose eyes in the checkbook. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion, Sydney. It's going to come as a shock. But I would ask you to give it your grave and thoughtful and earnest consideration. Can you do that? Would you do that for me?
Yeah.
Put aside the play that you're working on. Yes, put aside the play about Helga Tendorf and how she finds murderers and keys beneath clothes dryers. Put it aside and help Mr. Anderson with his play. Collaborate with him. But that's all that I'm suggesting. That's what I think would be the fair and sensible and rational thing to do in this situation. Deathtrap by Clifford Anderson and Sidney Brule. Unless, of course, Mr. Anderson feels, in deference to your age and reputation, that it should be the other way around.
Well, now that is shocking. Put aside the drowning wife.
I thought it was frowning.
Drowning? What kind of title would that be? No. The drowning wife is what I'm calling it now. It's full of women's lib overtones and ESP. It's a very timely play.
It'll keep, Sydney. People are always going to be interested in a psychic who could point to someone and say, this man murdered that man. Put it aside, Sydney, please. Do for Mr. Anderson what would George S. Kaufman do for you.
That's very persuasive, Myra. How's it grab you?
Oh, I suddenly feel as if I'm on the spot.
Well, I mean, you are on the spot. Myra just put you there. Right? She put both of us there.
I felt it was best to be brought up now before anything were done.
Yes. You were right. Quite right. What's your reaction, Clifford?
Well, first of all, I'm overwhelmed. Really honored and staggered that Sidney Brule would even consider the idea of putting aside one of his own plays to work with me on mine. I mean, there I was, 12 years old, sitting in that theater, and who would have thought that one day...
I think we can get the gist of that passage.
It's a golden opportunity that I'm sure I'll seize with both hands.
You should, yes.
But the thing is, it's as if I went to the doctor, one of the world's leading specialists, and he recommended surgery. Well, even with my respect for his evidence and experience, I would still want to get a second opinion, wouldn't I? And I'm sure your ideas are wonderful, but you're right, Mrs. Brule. It wouldn't be right of me to hear them now without any sort of understanding or arrangement. And to be perfectly honest, I feel Deathtrap is very good as it is. Not perfect, certainly. I'm sure there's some touching up here and there, but I'm not sure that it needs surgery. What I think I ought to do is zero out a few copies tomorrow morning and send them off to those agents you recommended to us. Now, if they too say that it needs major rewriting, then I will be coming back here and begging you to do what Mrs. Brewer suggested. And I'll be willing to make whatever arrangement you think is right. Practicing what you have with Mr. Kaufman, I guess. I hope I haven't offended you.
No, not at all.
Mr. Anderson, agents know about contracts. They don't know what makes
Don't,
them play.
Myra. Don't beg him. You make him think he's got the wealth of the Indies, and we're Mr. and Mrs. Jean Lafitte.
Oh, I would never think anything like that, Mr. Brule. I'm grateful that you wanted to go out of your way to help me.
But, I mean, I'm not, really. No, now that I've had a moment to think about it, I would never give up a play as inventive and as timely as The Drowning Wife to do wet nurse work on something as speculative as Deathtrap. Myra, would you please sit down? You're pacing around hyperventilating and you're making me nervous. Look, do as you said. Show it to a few agents, and then, if you feel it needs a major rewrite, get in contact with me. Perhaps I will run into a snag. It's happened once or twice.
Thank you. I will.
But I'm almost certain it won't happen in this case. I've got it completely outlined, and the play is more than halfway written. And I've got another play ready to go behind it, based on the life of Harry Houdini.
Oh?
Yeah, magic is very popular these days. Have you seen the success of the magic show? Houdini was a childhood idol of mine. These are a pair of his handcuffs.
Sydney?
Myra, relax. Clifford's not the sort of person who's going to steal someone else's idea. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Of course not.
See, no reason for alarm. His heart is far from fraud as heaven on earth. Remarkable man, indeed. Made his own magical apparatus. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yes. You know what? Magnificent craftsmanship. Take a look.
Sydney, please.
Sit down, Myra.
Don't, I'm begging you for God's
Myra,
sake,
he is an honest man. Now, will you sit down and stop being so all-fired suspicious of everyone who comes through the door? We had a terrible problem a few years ago with a plagiaristic playwright, whose name I shall not mention because he's been recalled to meet his maker, recalled for repair. But ever since then, Myra's become alarmed if I so much as tell a writer the language that I'm working in. So don't take it personally. Those really are remarkable. Take a closer look.
They look so old.
What they were meant to, and apparently strong and escape-proof.
They certainly seem that way.
Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
Yes, that's what I mean when you're sitting there holding on a pair of my prized $1,200 Houdini handcuffs, and I say, be my guest. Yes, put them on.
$1,200? Phew.
Now, what I want you to do is set your hands like that, turn, twist, pull. You did it wrong. It's got to be all in one motion. Try again. No, look, here. Turn, twist, pull, all in one.
No, they're not opening.
Well, no, they worked for me yesterday morning. It can't be a question of them not being oiled.
I guess I'm not Houdini.
Oh, it's no matter. I've got a key here somewhere. Oh, quit messing with me. You're liable to ruin it.
Oh, sorry.
Key. Where are you, little brass key?
You know, this could be a good thriller. It could, I mean it.
How so?
Well, a young playwright sends his first play to an older playwright who conducted a seminar that the young playwright attended. Nobody else has read it. And then the young playwright comes to visit the older playwright to get some ideas for rewrites, and he brings along the original and all his notes and everything. Of course, you have to have the Xerox breaking down to explain there only being the 2 copies. And the play would have to be a very good one, the one the young playwright wrote. And I guess the older playwright would have to have nothing much going on for him at the time.
An enormous concatenation of unlikely circumstances, isn't it?
Yes, maybe. But we've almost got it here, haven't we? The only difference is that you've got the drowning wife and the Houdini play. And I bet Deathtrap probably isn't worth killing for. I'll bet no one even saw me get to your car.
There you've done it. You've linked the other play problem.
I think it could be turned into something fairly interesting. What do you think, Mrs. Brule?
I don't like it. It frightens me.
I wonder if I left it over here somewhere.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I should be getting a phone call any minute. You see, there's this girl who I was supposed to meet about 8:30. That's about what time it is now, isn't it? And I couldn't get a hold of her before I left, so I left a note on the hall mirror telling her where I am and leaving her the number. That way she can call and find out what train I'll be taking back so she can meet me at the station. 1 2-hour walk per day is about enough for me. So I hope you find that key soon, or else you're going to have to hold the phone for me.
Well, how will she get in to read this note?
She has a key.
You're not a very conscientious house sitter, are you?
She's honest.
But, you told me in the car that you don't really know anybody else in Milford except a few tradespeople.
She's from Hartford. Her name is Marietta Klinowski. She works at Cork Middle School, phys ed.
But where did you get my number? It's not listed.
Well, they gave it to me at the university, along with your address. I'm friendly with Miss Beecham there.
Beecham.
The short, red-haired lady with the eye shade.
Well, I certainly hope they gave you the right number. We had it changed a few weeks ago. We were being bored by an obscene phone caller, and I didn't notify the old you of Con about changing it. What number did you leave for Miss Klinowski?
I don't remember.
226-3049 or 226-5457?
The first one, 3049.
Well, that's the current number. I guess I must have notified the university and simply forgotten about it. How strange and untypical of me.
Would you go on looking for the key, please?
Oh, certainly.
My heart won't take it.
Take what, dear? Am I finding the key? Look at you two. You look like you think I'm about to grab that mace and pull a Dr. Mannheim. Clifford, is that why you retreated so far upstage?
You can't write a play like that and not have a mind that envisions possibilities.
Well, I certainly understand that. I'm a little paranoid myself, but what's your excuse, oh loyal and trusting wife? 11 years of marriage, and she still thinks I'm capable of a flesh and blood murder. It's a lesson for you in there, Cliff. Uncuff yourself. Deathtrap is promising, but it's not that promising.
I'm glad it isn't.
Actually, I think your best invention to date is Marietta Klinowski. It's a beautiful name. My congratulations.
Thanks.
I can see the sweat on her forearms at the basketball game. Miss Beecham's eye shade. I thought that was a bit like.
I thought it was the kind of convincing detail you told us to try for. Are you sure this is the right key?
Ye gods, man, Houdini opened those inside a milk can under 10 feet of water. Do you mean to tell me that you...
Oh my gosh, anybody?
Get back!
Stop
Get
it!
away!
Stop it! Oh my god! Ah! Oh.
Well, right on the rug. 1 point for neatness. Well, your heart seems to have taken it.
Barely.
Oh, you'll be able to give it a rest on the Riviera once the play opens. And we'll get a new housekeeper. You'll be able to take it easy. And we'll buy another car. A goddamn Rolls.
We're going to be in prison.
I don't know why a young would-be playwright walks away from a house-sitting job. The police won't even bother to yawn.
Leaving behind his clothes and his typewriter.
Why not? Who can tell with young people these days, especially a young writer, would-be writer. Maybe he realized he wouldn't be, and he ran off to preachy college here. join the Reverend Sun Young Moon. Or maybe someone broke into his place and stole old Smith Corona.
And what are you gonna do with him?
Bury him behind the garage. Oh, better get the vegetable patch. Easier digging. For God's sake, would you take a brandy or something? I'm going to be a winner again, Myra. Your friends, they're going to see you living off of my money for a change. Imagine their surprise. Yep, full moon, all right. God, I hope this doesn't become a monthly occurrence. Would you help me move him? It's been done, Myra. I don't see the point in me getting a hernia. Thank God he's not the fat one. Make mine a double, would you? I'm afraid I've gotten a bit of a chill with them. Not to mention incipient blisters, aching arms, and, oh God, small devils poking pitchforks into what I'm sure is my goddamn lumbago. You know, in the murder game, I had Dr. Mannheim bury Teddy in 45 minutes. In the future, I will know better. Look, I know we're at one hearth rug, but I saw some good ones in the yield shop the other day. Oh God, you look like you're about to give a speech. Do you mind if I pour my own brandy and have a seat before you start?
I had intended to. I've learned something in 11 years of melodrama.
Oh, good girl. Go.
I'd be very
I will simply tell them he sent me a twerpy little letter asking for advice. And I answered it, or maybe I just threw it away.
In a couple of months, if we haven't been arrested, I want you to leave. We'll have arguments in people's living rooms. You can write them for us. Little tips about money or something. And then you'll move out. I wish that you could take that vegetable patch with you. but since you can't, you'll buy it from me. As soon as the money starts rolling in, before the Rolls Royce, before your trip to the Riviera, you'll buy that vegetable patch in this house, and the whole 9.3 acres. We'll get Buck Raymond or Maria Shirley.
Darling, you've had a shocking...
Stay away from me.
You've had a shocking and painful experience, and so have I. I mean, I'm terrified that I'm going to be caught, and I'm absolutely guilt-ridden that I was insane enough to do it. I'm going to give half of the money to the new Dramatists League. I swear I am. But this is not the time to talk about anything. Look, in a few days, when we're ourselves again, everything will seem much cheerier.
You are yourself now so much. In a couple days, he'll still be... Go ahead. He wrote me a twerpy letter, officer.
Look, it's got to be Lonnie and Ralph coming to yammer about that damn play.
Probably he'll attend to
Oh,
it.
stop. Don't be silly. Look, it's Lonnie and Ralph, damn it. I've got to let them in. Can you face them, or maybe you should go upstairs and...
I'll stay right here and let you worry that I'll fall apart.
Who is it?
I am your neighbor in House of McVeigh. Please, will you let me come in? It's most urgent that I speak to you. I called information, but the lady was telling me not your number. Please, will you let me come in? I'm trying to call by, and it's most urgent.
Yes, come in.
I apologize for so late I come, but you will forgive and I make the explaining. Yeah. It's the room I see. Beans and dinner like so. And the pain. Such pain. 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 Pain.
We're neither one of us quite up to snuff today.
Ah, just as I see them. Ouch. What give you such pain-covered things?
Well, I mean, they're props and antiques from shows. I'm a playwright.
Yes, he wrote all Ryman tells me. We make you give a book.
And this is my wife, Myra.
How do you...
What gives you such pain, dear lady?
Nothing. I'm fine.
No, something you see pains you. Paul tells you of me. I'm Helga Tendorf. I'm psychic.
Yes, he did. We were going to...
For hours now, I feel the pain from here. And more than pain. Since 8:30, when begins the Merv Griffin show. I'm on it next week. You will watch.
Yeah, of course we will. Make a note of that, Myra.
Thursday night. The amazing Kreskin also. What they want him for, I do not know. I pass information, but the lady will tell me not your number. I call Paul, but he is not home. He is in place with red walls eating with chopsticks. I pass information again. I say it's urgent, you must tell me number. I'm Helga Tendorf, I'm psychic. She says, yes, number. I try, but I only see the 226, which is everybody, yeah? So I come here now, because pain gets worse. And more than pain.
More than pain?
Yeah, there's something else here, something frightening. No, it will interfere.
What will?
The drink you would give me. You must keep on cloud as the head. Never drink. Only when images become too many, then I get trouble. But used many times by beautiful dark-haired woman, but only pretending.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's from my play, The Murder Game, and it was used every night by a beautiful dark-haired actress.
They'll be used again by another woman. Not in play, but because of play. Because of play, another woman uses this knife. You should put away these things.
Yes. You know what? I think I will. In 30 days or so, I'm going to sell the whole collection. I'm tired of them anyway.
Maybe too late. I do not enjoy to make unhappy people, but I must speak when I see something, yeah?
I mean, actually, you could just be quiet. I mean, you came here to rest, didn't you? You're not in your own country.
Must speak is my God gives gift. There's danger here. Much danger to you and to you. There's death in this room. There's something that invites death. That carries death. Deathtrap. Is this word in English, Deathtrap?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of the play that I've been writing. I'm sure that's what you're picking up on. And yes, there's a death in the play. That's what you're feeling. That's the desk I've been working at.
Maybe, but feels like real death.
Well, I mean, I try to make it authentic. I act it out as I write it.
Man in boots. Young man. Here, in this room, he attacks you.
He attacks me.
Which one of those? He comes as friend. To help you. To work with you, but he attacks. Very confusing.
Well, yeah, I will certainly do everything I can to avoid any man in boots. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go Japanese from now on. All shoes off the door.
He sits in this chair, and he speaks of Diane.
There's a Diane in the play.
And two other people, Smith and Colonna. No, one person. Small, black. Is it play? Black man, Smith, Colonna?
I've never heard that name before.
It's a very confusing image. It's gone now, nothing else comes.
Well, now that was quite a remarkable demonstration, wasn't it, dear? The way you got the name of the play and Diane and that business with the dagger, really awesome.
Remember what else I tell you, the dagger will be used by a woman because of play, and man who attacks you. Of these two things I am certain, all else is confusing. Painless now, yeah?
Yes, it was nothing really.
You know, that is an amazing gift. I'll be honest with you. I've been skeptical of ESP, but you have convinced me it's genuine.
It is genuine, but sometimes not have a gift to be owner of.
Have you always had it?
Since I was a child, never could I enjoy a game of hide and go seek. It was too easy, you understand? And parents did not wrap Christmas presents by wasting paper. And later, in my teenagers, walking with the boys, whoop, such images.
You know what? Let me get you that drink. I don't want to talk to you.
No, I must get back to the house. You come have dinner with me sometime and I will tell you all of my life, which may be very good play. As a child, you were living in a large house with yellow shutters, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Always when moon is full, I am in top form. Good night.
Good night.
Be careful. You also.
Oh, I certainly intend to. No boots allowed. Good night.
What? Remember, Thursday night, the Merv Griffin Show!
Yes. Good night. Well, if that's the best she can do, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Aren't you afraid of the danger she saw?
Not especially.
We're going to be arrested.
I don't see why. Look, if the police do come, and they do involve her, what happens? I mean, she'll have them searching the tri-state area for a small black boy with 2 spools of ribbon. One here, going through his mouth.
She saw him sitting there. She heard him speaking.
But she got the main point backwards. You'll see, there's nothing to worry about. Look, tomorrow, I'll boil that thing, or I'll throw it in the trash, and that'll be the end of it. In a week or so, this will all be behind us. I couldn't help myself, Myra. I saw that play going out in the world tomorrow, and saw him sitting there so young and so lucky. Please don't decide yet about kicking the open way out. And I beg of you, please, don't entertain any thoughts of using that dagger. Teasing is a joke. Just another of her fuzzy images. But you know, if we do get another housekeeper, I'm going to insist she have great references.
Self-reflection.
Probably I will. I will. You know, but not right away. It would be too suspicious. You know, it is amazing, isn't it? 18 years later, and Tanya's aura still permeates this thing.
Put that away somewhere.
Exit dagger into desk.
A part of me was hoping that you would do it. Even as I was terrified that you would do it, a part of me was hoping. I saw the money too in your name and lights.
Darling, you did the best you could. You tried to stop me. This was my doing and mine alone. You helped me carry him because I asked you to, and because you were too stunned and too in the habit of helping me to say no. If anything should go wrong, there can be no confusion whatsoever about that point. Nothing is going to go wrong. In a few weeks, we'll be celebrating. Leading producer, options, new Sidney Brohl thriller. Successful playwrights, admit envy. Why do we lock up and turn in? You know, I wonder if murder could be an aphrodisiac. Below that would be to the importers of ginseng roots, not to mention the Department of Health Education.
She's dead. I'm positive. It worked.
Well, I can't see why it wouldn't. She's had minor ones over much less things. Well, I've got news for you. Styrofoam hurts. You swung it a hell of a lot harder than you did in the hotel.
The added trembling of the actual performance. You didn't make the strangling a jolly experience. How about that helmet tendor? I almost had a heart attack myself out there.
Oh my God, me too.
Spooky the way she saw I was going to attack you.
Yeah, but she got some of it backwards. She saw you using one of those weapons.
That must have been the garage getting mixed in.
Yeah, it's very confusing image. Oh. A little something here on the side of your nose. Good. No, it's just as well she came when she did. Now she'll be telling people that she saw the oncoming pain of the physical heart attack. Every little bit helps. You know, I've been telling people for days that Myra's been under the weather. Not that we need any supporting evidence, I guess.
I better go get my things in.
No rush. I'm not going to call the doctor for a few minutes yet. We don't want any miracle resuscitations, do we?
What if Madame Tendril comes back?
Well, I mean, I can't see why she would. The pain is gone, isn't it?
Yes, I hadn't thought of that.
Quit moving around so much. You're shedding dirt. I bet you were happy to hear the exit dagger into desk line.
Was that for my benefit?
Well, of course it was. I was very concerned you were going to become nervous about that prediction and all. So I had this vision of you herring off into the woods, leaving me with a live wife and an imaginary corpse and no surefire would-be thriller to justify one to the other.
I would never have done that.
I just wanted to get rid of all your anxiety. I really can't burn this right now. It'll take too long.
Why burn them at all? They're still manuscripts.
Yeah, it's true. We could cut them up and use the backs for scrap, but that's so chintzy, though. tell them I was cleaning out my files when the Grim Reaper struck.
The closer you can say to the truth, the better off you are.
You are a font of down-home wisdom, aren't you, Clippy boy? Farewell, Deathtrap. Would that you were the genuine article.
We can put my desk right here.
Oh, I've got a surprise for you.
Let me guess. I'm working in the maid's room?
No, you're going to work right here in the handsomely converted stable, just like I promised.
Well, then what's the surprise?
You'll see after the obsequies. Hope you don't mind the clicking speed of Zenobia when I'm typing along very quickly. I'm going to do something on ESP. That demonstration by her, by Telbrook, it was really great, even though she made those mistakes.
I'm ready to get to work too.
Oh, that thing from the seminar.
No, I've got a better idea. Last week, while I was cleaning out my desk, I suddenly realized there was a play van in a typical urban welfare office.
A thriller.
No. The truth is, I've begun to lose interest in thrillers. I want to try something more honest, more relevant.
You know what? Even though you just spoke those words, I'm going to let you stay here. Go and get your things. I'm going to call the doctor now.
Right.
Hello, it's Sidney Brule. Is he there? Well, please have him call me back right away. It's an emergency. My wife's had a heart attack. No, there's no use in trying any of that. Just have him call me. 226-3049.
I left the weights for tomorrow, and the typewriter.
Ah, oh, Mr. Colonna.
That was funny, wasn't it?
Yes.
On its way.
No, I got his answering service.
What didn't you know? Well, how long do you think it's going to take?
I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. I may have to go with her.
Well, ciao.
Ciao. Oh, Cliff, listen. That floor upstairs squeaks a lot, so just do a quick wash up, get into bed, and stay there, okay?
I'll buy that.
Hello? Oh my God, yes, it was a massive heart attack this time. I tried to give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for 10 or 15 minutes, but it was no use. She's gone. No, she's been under the weather for days. I wanted to call and tell you, but she wouldn't let me. She said it was just a cold or flu. That must have been quite a welfare office.
It was. Everyone had a poignant story. They're creating a play of their own accord.
No notes, no outline.
This isn't a thriller, Sydney. It's not dependent on intricate plotting, tribe theatrics. These are real people. All I'm doing is bringing them on and spill out their dreams and frustrations, their anger at the bureaucracy.
Joe Pat will have a messenger here at any moment.
I was thinking of him as a possible producer. Do you know him?
Slightly. Hey, let me see if you pay me.
Sure, if you'd like to, but I'd really rather wait until the whole thing is done. Give it to you in one glorious bundle. Would you mind?
What's another hour or so?
It's going to be 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
At the rate you're going, you'll have a trilogy by then.
Nothing doing.
I'm thinking.
Why don't you invite her over? Miss Pendrith. Talking with her might spark something.
Do you really think it's wise to have her back on the premises?
Maybe not when the moon is full, but any other time, why not? I mean, look at the egg she
Kreskin rattled her by describing all of her husbands in such detail.
Oh, Belle Forrester called before you came down. She wouldn't know if you could come sew a button or take a casserole. I told her we were managing just fine.
Don't. Mustn't break the flow, shall we? Porter, come in. It's good to see you.
How are you, Sidney?
I'm doing okay.
Couple things I wanted to talk to you about. Am I disturbing you?
No. I'm always anxious to find a reason to take a break. Why aren't you up in the city?
I've got to be in New Haven this afternoon. The secretary?
Yes.
My, what a fast typist.
Yes, he is. Come meet. Clifford Anderson, this is Porter Milgram, my friend.
How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
I would have said my attorney, but then he'd start to bill me.
I'm going to anyway. This is a business call, partially at least.
Clifford and I met last summer during a seminar. He asked me then about a secretarial job, and when Myra passed, I knew I needed someone to help, so I called Clifford, and he was here the next day.
Have a typewriter, will travel.
That was mighty good of you.
It's a privilege to be of help to someone like Mr. Brule.
Oh my, isn't she a beauty?
That's a partner's desk.
Where'd you find her?
Oh, stumbled across it in Wilton last week. I thought it better than cluttering the room with two smaller ones.
Must have cost a pretty penny.
Hey, it's deductible.
Well, they can't very well quibble over a writer's desk, can they? Wait till Elizabeth sees this.
Well, how is she?
Fine.
And the girls?
Could be better. Happy love, Vassar.
And Vassar Verser, I'm sure. Hey, have a sit down, would you?
Shall I pick the groceries now? Then you and Mr. Moakes can talk in private.
Oh, would you mind?
I've got to do it sometime before dinner. Might as well.
All right, hey, I'll be with you in just a minute, Porter.
Take your time. I haven't started the clock yet. I love this room.
It's nice, isn't it? It's a privilege working here.
He's looking well.
Yes, he's picked up quite a bit in the past few days. It was bad the first week. He cried every night. I could hear him plainly. And he was drinking heavily.
Oh my.
But he'll pull through. His work is a great solace to him.
I'm sure it must be. Always envy my writer clients on that account. I tried to play once.
Oh?
A Supreme Court justice I most admired. Even the title was a problem. Frankfurter.
20 enough.
Too much. We only need solid things and milk. I'm going to get some.
Well, pick up some yogurt also, would you? Just nothing pruned.
Okay. You aren't in the driveway, are you?
No, I pulled over on the side.
Well, nice meeting you. Or see you later. Whichever it turns out to be.
I'm sure we'll see each other again. Was a young fellow, good looking too.
Yeah. Do you think he's gay? You know, homosexual?
I know what gay means, Sidney. Elizabeth told me long ago. No, you didn't strike me that way.
I have a sinking suspicion he might be. But as long as he does his job, it's really none of my business, is it?
Well, in essence, he is a domestic employee. I think in such circumstances, his sexual preference could be a legitimate matter of concern.
I wasn't asking for a legal opinion. I was just saying it's none of my business, is it?
Well, then, no, it isn't.
Besides, if I hired a female secretary, people would talk, wouldn't they?
If she were under 80.
Well, there you have it. That's what I thought. I called Clifford.
Glad to see you looking so well. That's the main reason I've come. See, I was delegated by Elizabeth to Westminster to Harvard. That young man has been discouraging all college. We were worried you were in worse shape than he was letting on, but I see that's not the case.
I mean, I'm not ready for socializing just yet, but I'm pushing through, and the work is a great solace to me.
Now, what are you on to now?
Oh, it's a play about ESP. Helga Tindorf's our neighbor over the McBain cottage. Did you know that?
Yes, I do. Tell me, is it true what everyone's talking about that, do you mind talking about this?
No, not at all. Go ahead.
Is it true she pointed to the exact spot on the floor where Myra was going to fall?
No. Not at all. Not at all like that. All she said was, lady has pain. Lady has great pain in the heart. And Myra said, well, I got a little pain. And she said, well, you should see doctor with your medical history. That's what I've been telling Myra for days.
Uncanny how we can sense such things. I would think you'd be able to write a very fine thriller on the subject.
It's coming along. Uh-oh. Business time.
Yes. First thing on the agenda is your will. Now that Myra's gone, I think you should look it over. Should anything happen to you, your cousins in Vancouver inherit, you want to leave it that way?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
Don't put it off. Next thing, this is only approximate, I don't have the up-to-date appraisals on the real estate yet. That's roughly what you can anticipate, give or take a few thousand.
I had no idea it was so much.
And then Myra was keeping a few secrets. She knew her record for an apple pie order.
Wow. How much of this is the government going to grab from her estate, though?
Not much, really. First 250,000 is exempt from federal tax. State tax starts at 50,000. That's only a few percent. One final thing, Sydney. I was talking to Mario Escher last night at the planning board meeting. You mentioned you spoke to him about selling off a few acres.
I don't think I will now.
Well, you can't. Not yet, anyway. You're going to have to wait for the will to go through probate.
I know that. I was just asking him because I wondered what I might be able to get.
So he would jump the gun, not you. I just want to make sure you're clear on that point.
Yes.
Into business. You got off cheap.
Yes, I'm lucky.
So what's the procedure here? You dictate, he types?
No. I do my own typing. He retypes the finished product and the letters.
Is that what he was working on, the letters?
No, he was also working on his own play.
The seminar course.
Yeah, he started the damn thing yesterday, probably finish it tomorrow.
I hope he's not stealing your ESP idea. Have you discussed it with him?
Why do you say that?
He locked what he was working on in the desk drawer unobtrusively, but I noticed. Then again, maybe he's afraid you're going to steal his idea.
Hardly. Life in a welfare office, the hopes and dreams of a half dozen people who just as soon never spend an evening with.
Worked in a welfare office.
That's what he was doing.
Simply be force of habit, people in our jobs stop and lock their desks.
Yeah, but unobtrusively, I would think it'd be the exact opposite. Hey, I'm locking my desk.
Doing things. I'm sorry if I worried you. Suspicious legal mind. He may be what he seems, an honest, helpful young man. Completely trustworthy.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I best be moving on. If I'm at New Haven by noon. Trusty lunch into the old Eli. Has that letter from the insurance company come yet?
No, it hasn't.
I'll write them a letter first thing in the morning.
Thank you. I would much appreciate that.
Will you come have dinner with us?
Another couple of weeks, I'll be ready to face the world.
Very well. Take care.
Oh, give my love to Elizabeth.
I will.
And the girls. Shit! Come on, you bastard. Goddamn old school craftsmanship. that welfare office.
God forbid. The changes at the bowl. The avocado is supposed to be organic.
Clifford, could you come help me for a moment?
Where are you?
Where are you?
Hey, wait.
Oh, I didn't know you heard me, so I came around. I need those Olympic-sized fingers of yours.
Beer. Now.
Oh, just had a craving, like in the commercials. Be careful, though. I should get up a little
You know you can use an opener on these.
bit. Really?
Sure. Doesn't it say so?
Who can read it? Roaches? Tired of writing thrillers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No taste for the intricate plots and glib, superficial characters.
Mm-hmm.
Want to write something real and honest and socially meaningful.
Hey, cut it out, will you? Your idea will start coming.
Possibly.
Just try to relax and not bug me. It'll come.
Deathtrap, a thriller in 2 acts. Characters: Julian Crane, Doris Crane, Willard Peterson, Inga von Bronk. Action takes place in Julian Crane's stable in Westport, Connecticut.
You have one hell of a nerve stealing.
Setting! The stable is a handsomely converted, crafted over the side of an authentic colonial house. Sliding doors, upstage center, open onto a foyer with the front door and entrances to the living room and the kitchen, and the staircase to the 2nd floor. French doors, upstage right, open out to a shrubbery-flanked patio. Downstage left is a fieldstone fireplace, practical to the extent that paper can be burned in it. The room is handsomely decorated with antiques, carefully chosen chairs, and a few other pieces. A buffet downstage right with liquor decanters. Oh, and the focus of the room, Julian Crane's desk. You remember Julian Crane's desk, don't you? It's where he worked before he invited crazy Willard Peterson into his room. Draperies cover the French doors. Upstage right, the walls are decorated with framed authentic movie posters, unlike these, which are window markers, not posters. We have a collection of handcuffs, guns, knives, maces, swords, and broadswords, any one of which I'm likely to use at any minute now.
Oh, that's it. You're not going to act out the 11 pages. Would you like me to explain?
What's to explain? You're a lunatic with a death wish. Freud covered it thoroughly.
I have the exact same wish you have. A success wish.
And this is going to make you a success.
It hit me that night. Remember, I put in that extra speech where we're looking for the key. It could be a terrific thriller.
And with someone like me and someone like you, if someone like Myra, a fatal heart attack.
Yes, at the end of Act 1.
What, pray tell, is your definition of success? Being gang-banged in the shower at the state penitentiary?
I knew you would have reservations about it. That's why my first idea was to say it wasn't even a thriller. I haven't enjoyed putting you on, Sydney. I'm glad it's out in the open.
You knew I would have reservations.
Well, you do, don't you?
The house madman is writing a play that's going to put both of us in prison.
It won't.
And I'm standing here, horrified, stupefied, terrified, crapping my pants, and he says, I knew you'd have reservations. I'm not going to use one of those on you. I'm going to beat you to death with Roget's thesaurus.
There is no possible way for anyone to prove what did or did not cause Myra's heart attack. Look, if I could change things, I would, but I can't. It has to be a playwright. Who else can pretend to receive a finished work that can make tons of money?
A novelist, a composer. Why am I discussing this?
A surefire smash hit symphony? No. And would a novelist or a composer know where to garret and squirts blood, and how to stage a convincing murder? And it has to be a playwright who writes thrillers, because Arthur Miller probably has old sample cases hanging on his walls. I suppose I could make it Wilton instead of Westport.
Why make it anywhere? In fact, why make it?
It's there, Sydney.
That's mountains, not plains. Plays aren't there until some asshole writes them.
Stop and think for a minute, will you? Think about that night. Try to see it from an audience viewpoint. Everything we did to convince Myra that she was seeing a real murder would have the exact same effect on them. I mean, weren't we giving a play? Didn't we write it, rehearse it? Wasn't she our audience? Scene 1. Julian tells Doris about this terrific play that's come in the mail. He jokes about killing for it. Then invites Willard over, getting him to bring the original copy. Audience thinks exactly what Doris thinks. Julian might kill Willard. Scene 2. Everything that happened from the moment we came through that door. All the little ups and downs to make it ring true. The I'm expecting a phone call bit. Everything. Tightened up a little, naturally. And then the strangling, which scares the audience as much as it did Doris.
God, the one you did need an outline.
It's all up here, every bit of it. Scene 3. Inga von Braun. A few laughs can't hurt, right? Then Julian and Doris are getting ready to go upstairs. It looked as if the actor drawings were kind of so-so closed. And pow! In comes Willard out of the grave and seeking vengeance. Shock, surprise! Doris has her heart attack. Julian gets up from the fake beating, and the audience realizes that Julian and Willard are in cahoots. A fire thriller, that Willard is moving in. The curtain is Julian burning the manuscripts. Or calling the doctor, I'm not sure which. Now be honest, isn't that a surefire first act?
Yes, and what an intermission. 20 years to life.
No one can prove it really happened. They can't. How can they?
And what will you say to the man from the Times when he asks, don't you work for Sidney Brule? And didn't you come there about the time his wife died of a heart attack?
No comment.
Oh my God.
I know it's going to be a little sticky, but, well, everybody's opening up about everything these days. In print, on TV, why not on stage? I've given it some serious thought, Sydney, and as long as it can't be proved, I think it'll give the play an added dimension of intriguing gossip.
Yes, I'm sure you're right. I can see the box in New York Magazine now. Tongues are wagging about the interesting similarities found in the new play Deathtrap and the private lives of its author, Clifford Anderson, and his employer, Sidney Brule, who committed suicide on opening night. Look, I still have a name and a reputation, so we're not going to do this. Name is tattered a little bit, certainly, but it's still good for dinner invitations, theater tickets, and the conducting of summer seminars. You know what? I want to be known for the rest of my life as the author of The Murder Game, not fag who knocked off his wife. Well, look, a fieldstone fireplace. Let's see if it's practical to the extent that people
Don't
can
you dare! You burn that, and I go out of here and write it again someplace else. I'll get a house sitting job. Give it to me. Give it, Sydney. I helped you kill for the chance to become who I want to be. I'm not going to let you take it away from me. I had hoped that when I showed you the finished draft, you would be impressed enough to get over your Angel Street uptightness and pitch in. But I guess we can forget about that.
A collaboration.
Well, it's mostly your idea, isn't it? I'm not pretending it's all my baby. I know that scene 1 is coming out a little heavy and stilted. I hoped it could be a team. Brule and Anderson.
Rogers and Harkless.
Now you see, I could never come up with something like that.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't want to collaborate on my own public humiliation.
Next season's hit. Don't say I didn't ask. I think I'd better move out anyway.
Why?
Well, when Helga Tendorf said a woman who was going to use the dagger because of a play, maybe she wasn't that far off target.
Don't be silly. Look, I love you. I would never do anything to hurt you. And besides, look at you. You break my neck.
Goddamn right I was.
So, no more talk about moving out, okay?
I don't know. I'm not going to feel comfortable with you being unhappy about this.
Look, I'll just whistle a lot. All right. Maybe I am just being old-fashioned and uptight about all of this.
You are. These days, geez, who cares about anything?
I mean, I could use half of the royalties of a good solid hit.
I think there's a movie in it, too.
I mean, Porter came over and went over Myra's estate with me. It's even less than I imagined. $22,000, and half of that's going to go in taxes. I mean, there's the house and the land, but he said I can't sell any of that until it goes through probate. It's 2 or 3 years.
True.
And the life insurance, not very much.
The offer's still open.
You know, that day, that afternoon, that play in the mail thing, I thought to myself, that'd be a good first act.
It's mostly your idea, Sydney. All I did was help with some of the details. Pretty neat the way you managed it.
Well, I tried to get into it, but that damn thing's locked up like a fortress. Porter saw you locked in the desk. He was afraid you were writing something about ESP.
And I thought I was being so inconspicuous.
Well, he's sharp. Dull, but sharp. You know what? To hell with it. I'll do it. Let people talk. I will blush all the way to the bank.
You mean it?
Yes. Brule and Anderson.
Great. We'll make it Wilton, not Westport.
I'll leave it Westport. To hell with it.
Jesus, just think of me, Clifford Anderson, collaborating with Sidney Brule.
Yeah, that's in Act 1.
Act 2 is going to be a problem.
How so?
Well, we've got the murder in Act 1. 2 murders in effect. Act 2 is liable to be a letdown.
Not necessarily.
We'll bring in a detective, of course. I was thinking of a Connecticut version of the one in ILM.
Oh, Inspector Hubbard.
Yeah, and think of Von Bronco again. A good comic character like that, it'd be a waste not to make the most of her.
Yes, we'll tell you what. You just go on drafting Act 1 and do some thinking about Act 2.
his wife's death.
Yeah, but much pain right here. Very sad, such a nice lady. This room, he's well, Mr. Brew?
Yes, fine. He went out to dinner. The first time since. He said he'd be back about 10, and it's about 1/4 past now.
There'll be big storm. Much wind and rain, lightning and thunder. Trees will fall.
Are you sure?
Yeah, was on radio. I come for candles. I'm not in-house. You have?
I don't know. I haven't noticed any, but I'm sure I've got some somewhere. Why don't you sit down and I'll go look for them?
Thank you. You wear boots?
Everyone does these days. They're very comfortable.
You are for a long time secretary to Mr. Brew?
No, I just came here about 3 weeks ago, after Mrs. Brule died. I'll go looking for those candles.
God, what a bore that was.
Hello, Mr. Brule. Miss Tennyson is here?
Oh, how are you?
Good. Good evening, Mr. Brew.
Oh, nice to see you. Did you get my card?
Yeah, thank you.
Yours was very nice, and the flowers.
Do we have any candles? There's a storm coming up, and Miss Tender wants to borrow some.
Oh, yeah. Well, Myra kept some somewhere. I think they're on top of the refrigerator or on a shelf on the landing. The gray cardboard box. I saw you on the Griffin show. It was not your finest hour. What is it?
It's Van and Boots. I warn you, a man who attacks you.
Oh my God. And all of the turmoil about Myra's death, I forgot about that morning.
Is he? Candles is not why I can't have many candles, but tonight I felt danger here again, and this room is feeling very strong. You should not have him here.
Yes, you know, I decided just tonight to get rid of him. I've talked about it with my attorney. I've been feeling uneasy, so I asked my attorney to do a background.
Smith Corona? Is his?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Naturally, Corona, not Kelowna. This is why I see on Black Man's face. Where to you I open? You should send away this man tonight.
I'm going to. I'll give him his notice at least, and now that you've reminded me of the morning, I won't hesitate now. But you're sure you saw him attacking me?
Was image like TV so sharp?
Oh, come in, Clifford.
Thank you, I take two.
I'll take all you need.
No, two is enough.
It's really blowing up out there.
Yeah, sometimes they are right with their predictions. I should stay.
Hey, I hope you get home before the rain.
I go through it, it's less to walk.
Oh,
Good night.
Good night.
it's pitch black out there. I hope you can find your way.
I have my torch.
Oh, all right then. Well, good night. What?
My daughter, she's pregnant. Oh, for so many years they tried, for so many doctors they go to. Alas, they make me grandmother. Chadam. I must call them.
Yes, do that.
She told you I'm the man in boots who attacks you.
Yes.
She noticed them just before you came in. Did you tell her I used a styrofoam log and not one of the weapons?
No, I really didn't think that advisable. I told her you've been teaching me karate and we've been attacking each other all over the place. The closer you stay to the truth, the better off you are.
I finished Act 1.
Well, then you certainly had a more productive night than I did.
I ended it with Julian on the phone.
You said I can't live without her?
Well, he wants a doctor to think he's upset, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, your dialogue's a little Tin Pan Alley, but your timing is first rate. I've got Act 2 ready to go.
Terrific.
Well, almost. There's a couple of bits of business that we're going to have to work through and make sure they work. Once we do that, I'll go over the whole thing with you scene by scene. It's full of surprises.
I can't wait to hear.
Well, go upstairs and check the windows first, would you? It sounds like we're getting Hurricane Alice from Zelda.
How many scenes are there?
3, just like in Act 1. I like that kind of symmetry. Think about this. Willard has spilled the beans, and Inspector Hubbard has gone to Julian to beard him in his own den. Julian goes quite berserk and shoots Inspector Hubbard in the left arm. Now, he's only got the one bullet though, so he's got to get to that back wall, grab a weapon to finish the job. Question number one. Can a one-armed, otherwise healthy inspector stop a two-armed, middle-aged playwright from getting where he wants to go? In our case, the answer better be no. So let's try it out. I'm Hubbard, you're Julian, right about here.
Left dramatic commission?
Yes. Are you ready?
Ready.
Go. You've got to try harder than that.
That would look convincing, I think.
Not even to a theater part. Come on. Give it another try. Ready? Go. Jesus Christ. Big guy, Julian.
I was afraid I'd tear your shirt.
Come on, Cliffy dear. We're trying to become rich and famous. Don't worry about a 5-year-old shirt. Don't let it stand in the way.
Can't we let the director and the actors work it out?
That is not the way professional playwrights operate, dum-dum. Professional playwrights don't submit a play until they've tried every bit to make sure they're playable and doable. Now, let's show them why we're going to set theatrical history as Brooklyn Anderson. Are you ready?
Great.
All right, here we go. Go. Oh, voila!
Look at your shirt. Man, Mom, Jesus. I scratched your neck.
Oh, don't worry about that. Okay, the last bit of business. Much shorter, far less strenuous.
I'm glad of that.
Now, I'm Hubbard, you're Julian. Go over there and grab an axe from the wall. No, that doesn't look natural. Try holding it another way.
It doesn't feel right this way.
Okay, go back to the first way. Okay, now, put it down on the floor. We've got some goodbyes to say. Deathtrap is over. We're now in theater verite. The gun. No blanks as in dear old Mansfield, real bullets, courtesy of Messrs. Remington. I loaded it last night while you were asleep. I really don't want this play to be written, Cliff. Though nothing can be proven, too much can be talked about, and I'm too old and too uptight to join the Washington secretaries, ex-lovers of ex-presidents, happy hookers, and the happily hooked in the National Bad Taste Exposition. And I can't think of another way to stop you from putting me in a centrally located booth. So, ask Porter to check you out up in Hartford. Found a few plots on your record, precisely the ones you told me about. Porter feels, we talked about it tonight, that needs to give me the exact tendency to feel uneasy about you. So, I came home tonight, I gave you your notice. You flew into a violent rage, and Miss Tindorf's 3-week-old vision came to pass. Fortunately, I was able to grab the gun, for which I have a license and a right to use in self-defense. Beats taking up the temperature, perhaps, doesn't it? I am truly sorry, Cliff. If you had not developed a case of thrilleritis malignus in what has to be the most acute case ever recorded, who knows? Maybe we could have become the team of Brule and Anderson. As it stands now, it'll just be Brule. I'm out of dialogue. Your go.
What can I say? I'm not going to beg.
I thought you might promise to become a steam fitter or something.
Would you believe me?
No.
So, I'm hoping you'll take pity on a pretty face.
I shall miss you so very much, Cliff. Goodbye, Cliff.
Goodbye, Sydney. I thought a clip would be anticlimactic, so I bought some blanks this morning. While I was reading the bullets for this one. Sit down, dum-dum. Sit down. Peripeteia, reversal, important element of all drama. You talked about the first day of the seminar. Put that down. The problem was, I had this terrific first act, and I couldn't think of a plotter himself, author of the murder game, and in for the kill, which I consider to be even more elegantly constructed.
Thank you, I couldn't agree more.
Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
That's what I mean.
What are you doing?
Continue loading. Through the arm of the chair. Don't play dumb. Through the arm. So there I am with my problem. Sydney's not going to help with it. Not voluntarily. This I know from square one. Sydney uses 3 kinds of deodorant and 4 kinds of mouthwash. Not for him the whip of scandal. But maybe there is a way I can harness that 17-jewel brain and put it to work for me, all unwittingly. So, I began drafting Act 1, and every time I leave the desk, I inconspicuously lock the drawer. So inconspicuously, in fact, that for a day and a half, smart Sydney doesn't notice. But dull old Porter comes in, thank God, and saves me the embarrassment of getting heavy-handed and the old page lying around.
My God, you really are a shit, aren't you?
Would you mind saying that into the microphone? So there we are, Rule and Anderson. I write, Sydney thinks. I don't sleep much. Last night, for instance, I barely got a wink with all that tiptoeing that was going on, but I'll make up for it next week. Thank you for Act 2. No Inspector Hubbard. Julian's lawyer as the 5th character. Scene 1. Julian finds out that Willard is writing the real Deathtrap, with changed names, of course. He'll pretend to collaborate, but asks old Peter Coburn to check up on Willard, knowing full well there are false and unfair charges to be found. Scene 2. Julian sets Willard up for what looks like murder and self-defense by getting him to enact bits of business from the play. That's beautiful, Sydney. The whole thing you just did, it'll play like a dream, and I never would have thought of it. I'm really in your debt. Julian shoots Willard, who's basically an innocent kid led astray.
You bastard.
But the very next moment, Inga von Gronk and Peter Pilgrim come in. She called him because she's been getting bad vibes all night. They met at Doris's funeral. Willard lives just long enough to tell the truth about himself, and about Julian, and about Doris's murder. And Julian shoots himself. Kurt.
No scene 3?
About what? They're both dead. The play is over.
That doesn't sound very satisfying. I'll be happy to think some more.
No thanks. I'll manage to fill in the holes. Now, I'm going to pack and call a cab. I'm taking whatever money I can find. Now, before I leave, when the cab is at the door, I'll give you the keys. You'll tell everyone that you gave me my notice, and I accepted it with grace and charm. If you say I stole anything, or hassle me in any way, you will be opening up a very messy can of cheese. Why, look, we've got a bit of Angel Street to keep you company. Maybe you'll find some rubies upstairs. See you, Anon.
Jesus Christ, hurry up. Police department. This is Sidney Rule. I live on Fox Lane Road. I just killed my secretary. Yeah, he was coming at me with an axe. Now listen, you're not going to believe this next part. You're going to think I'm drunk, but I am stone cold sober. I shot him with a medieval crossbow. So I get my hands on him. I assure you I'm not. Come over and check it out for yourself. But you better bring some flashlights. B-R-U-H-L. Sidney. How nice of you to know. His name was Clyde!
They killed Mrs. Brew.
What? She died of a heart attack.
They make it too happy. The pain she feels as she sees Brew kill Boyd.
Now hold on a minute.
Quiet. Brew shows her play from Boyd. Good play. Boyd comes. Brew kills. Around that tight to take play. She helps to carry Boyd out. Pain brings meat. But I go. And Boyd is from grave. Comes with love. No, I try to stop. She dies.
My God, a fake murder to bring about a real one. Are you sure that's what happened? I thought it was suspicious that boy showing up on such short notice.
Was no play.
There wasn't.
But now Boyd writes it. All they had done. Brew discovers.
I saw the boy locking his desk.
He is afraid, Brew. Play will bring shame.
Play about them killing Myra. I bet he was afraid.
Tricks play to take axe. To make more play. Shoots with gun. Yeah, but there's no bullet. Boyd has tricked him to make more of play. Chase him. Let go. But chains come apart.
The Houdini set.
Shoots Boyd with arrow on stairs.
And places the axe by the boy.
Burns play.
Ashes in the fireplace.
Calls police.
And while he was speaking,
Boyd pulls arrow from chest and attacks. Just as I saw 4 weeks ago.
my God, what a story. Better than the murder game.
You are thinking it could be play?
It has a beautiful one, doesn't it? Everything happening in one room. 5 characters.
Deathtrap.
Say, that's a catchy title. I couldn't write Frank Murder, but maybe I could write Deathtrap.
Yeah. I see Vita. Inside, large applause. Outside, long line of ticket buyers shivering and cold.
My goodness, that's encouraging.
But this is my idea.
Your idea. How can you say that? It was Sidney's idea. The boys, they lived it.
But if I not tell, you not know.
That's true. I can't deny it. You did provide me with the title, which I may or may not use.
We share money half and half.
Are you serious? I'm going to go home, work nights and weekends, possibly give up my vacation. All you've done is walk around here, touch the furniture for 2 minutes.
If you not share money, I tell about telephone.
Telephone?